and welcome everyone to episode 6 of the Jester's
Yeah.
Court. We have a
Woohoo!
rare reoccurrence, the very first time we have a guest host come back, and 2 weeks in a row at that. The Miss Nephimel
Yeah,
here.
I know. I just have so many things to say about so many cool things.
Uh, Basically, she heard that Momthulu was going to trash Fallout 76 and she had my back. She's like, no, I'll come back and talk about that.
Such a
I
piece of
must
shit game.
defend.
It's a
Must
piece of shit
defend.
game.
Speaking of,
Don't worry, Fallout 6, I love you.
we also have Momthulu, who almost didn't come because she does not like the game so much.
Game is terrible.
Yeah, but when was the last time you played it?
Never.
No, I did play it. Shut up. I did play it, and I was fighting a feral ghoul, and all of a sudden they became like Stretch Armstrong, and I was like, this is shitty. It was such a shit show when it first came out.
We're going to talk about that and the improvements that have been made. But as we've already let the cat out of the bag, we are talking about... And they can hear music, you guys can't.
Right? Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt the music. I was laughing at AM2.
What's going on?
There's
So,
music playing right now.
so
Trying
it
to
was
figure out the music.
it was this nice. No, it was playing. They could hear it, just
It was-
not
yeah,
not the Discord call.
The Twitch viewers can hear it, not us.
And the recording.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure that out. So yes, we're talking about
get
the
there.
infamous Fallout 76, Momthulu's favorite game.
Dun dun
Yeah.
dun.
I was gonna say I set you up for that, and you just crickets.
I what do you want me to say?
Yeah, we get it. She doesn't like it.
Right? Like, he's like, you gotta come on the show with me. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, I hate this game.
But
And
banter is good as long as it can be not troll-like, and I trust you not to be troll-like. You were on the Halloween 3 episode, and you did not like that movie.
Okay, I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can, but I'm just gonna be the voice in the background going, God, that was a crappy game. Every once in a while, and then, my opinion on that or why I thought it was crappy. This is y'all show. I'm just I'm the voice of disdain.
The stain. Oh my god.
The
So-
scoff in the background is actually Momthulu.
So Fallout 76 was released in 2018, and it was the first MMO of the Fallout series.
Yeah, we just had our 3-year anniversary on Fallout 76.
With a new release, too, Mothman.
Well, I mean, the anniversary was prior to this latest update, which was a huge update with a lot of quality of life improvements. They added a whole new radio station, the Mothman Equinox event, which is supposed to be a teaser to the next expansion, which will be a cultist expansion. But we can get into all that.
Oh, we're gonna get into all of that.
Yeah.
But flashing back to 2018, it was not a great release. Needless to say, people were disappointed.
Speak for yourselves.
People were disappointed, me included.
And it's fair to say, and we're going to talk about this as we go through the episode here, but a lot of those issues were addressed. Which leads me to the very first and most prominent complaint, which was the no NPCs and the weak story.
Yeah, which, while I understand that this is a huge complaint a lot of people had, I personally think it's stupid. Not having NPCs was what made the universe realistic, but then again, that's why we don't always have to take a shit in a video game. People don't like realistic, people like entertaining.
Yeah, I liked the concept. Like when they were talking about it, and they're like, "This is the earliest in canon that you've been out of a vault, and there are no villages. There's nothing out there. The only other people you're going to see are the other people from your vault." And I thought that was cool. I'll admit,
Yeah, and robots.
yeah, they're robots.
People always seem to forget that there were NPC robots,
Yes,
not just the vendors. But yeah. I guess robots aren't good enough. They can only do so much.
but I could see both sides of it, and I kind of was on the following around story. Following the I almost said quest giver.
Overseer.
The overseer. Boring is not the word, but it did feel like it was lacking something. Not to the point where I didn't like the game. I still loved the game. But Bethesda heard this, and spoiler alert, guys, like a year and a half ago, we got NPCs. Wastelanders expansion happened. You have villagers and townsfolk to save, or raiders to join and not save the other people.
See, AMT, I would say it's the exact opposite of lazy. You have to create these interesting quests without having anybody that you actually can physically see to care about in them. And I was telling Jester earlier, actually, that some of my favorite quests in the game are still those quests from before they ever even put NPCs in the game.
The one that you brought up specifically, the Wakanda, the robot
Watoga.
one. Watoga.
Yeah, Watoga.
That is one of the best quests in the game.
Yeah, that was one I specifically thought of for mentioning this. Watoga was a quest that's been in the game since launch. It's a city of robots that was supposed to be like this luxury city that's like the robots were supposed to take care of your every whim, but somehow the program got infected and these robots went bananas and basically murdered everybody in the entire city and just run it still like they're waiting for the people to take care of to come. And it's like this whole quest that you do, and there is not a single other person involved other than a computer and some holotapes of the previous mayor of Watoga. And that's all it is. And it's an awesome quest. I really, really enjoyed it.
You said it, and I immediately it remains one of my favorite quests in the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like the kind of level, like I'm saying, that's not lazy. That's actually kind of taking on this challenge to make something interesting without having a lot to work with.
It was creative. And to their credit, they heard that most people didn't like it, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll add a little something for you guys too.
Yeah, but I do see how it is not having NPCs kind of shoots yourself in the foot. Like, what kind of expansion are you going to come out with then? It's not like anything's changing. Nobody's out there in the environment to make anything different, so...
Right. At some point, it was going to have to happen.
Yeah, it was bound to happen, so...
And buggy robots and Bethesda fixing problems after they came out was kind of our next point, because the game is buggy. Was a big complaint. And have you guys ever played a Bethesda game? Because that's kind of their MO. They make great games. I love Bethesda. They do not make perfect games.
Well, okay. I'm gonna totally turn the tide on my own opinion here, and you have to remember that when it comes to MMOs, there's so many working parts, right? So even some of the great MMOs out there, like World of Warcraft, Diablo, things like that, had some serious bugs to them. So you can't expect like a world like this and a game like this to go out and there not be bugs, because that's just unrealistic. Things happen, things break. In my opinion, though, they really rushed the release of Fallout 76. And I mean, they hyped it up so big. Like, oh my god. I remember whenever, like, the commercials and stuff were playing, all of the ads, they're like, you're just, like, so excited for it. And I, personally, am not a fan of MMOs. The only MMO I really like is Red Dead Online. So, and that's probably the worst MMO out there. So, I mean, I'm a fan of shitty MMOs. But this one, they really did. They rushed the delivery of it. They got everybody hyped up for the delivery of this game. And the way that they made it seem was that it was going to be like Fallout 4. Like, it was running on the same engine, so you were to expect the same level of graphics. You were to expect the same type of scenery. It's running on the same engine. And then we get into it, and then our feral ghouls are suddenly Stretch Armstrong, and then, suddenly there's 15 bots spawning out of thin air to shoot you in the face. It had so many bugs. It had probably 30 times the bugs that a normal MMO would have had, and it's because Bethesda just rushed to release.
Maybe a little bit, but it's also because it's Bethesda.
It's also their first MMO.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it was a swing and a semi-miss. They're like, okay, but we can work with this.
And you're right. I mean, how many times have you guys been playing Skyrim and suddenly your horse becomes a UFO and just shoots into the sky and you're like, goodbye, go back to the mothership, you know?
And I mean, I can't remember. I was actually talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, when was the last time Bethesda even updated their engine? They've been using the same engine for
a long time.
Like a long time, since at least Fallout 3, I think. And so, I mean, all these games they come out with, it's all on the same engine. They've never updated it. And then to release a 24/7 MMO on the same engine was
disastrous.
Surely
it wasn't gonna work as well as they'd hoped.
They also don't have their standard way things get fixed in Bethesda games, because you can't mod an MMO. And I'm going to say that again for the people who were like, pissed about that. You can't mod an MMO. It doesn't work like that.
Can we talk, though, for a second, how Bethesda has the best bugs? I mean, come on. Sometimes those bugs are amazing. Sometimes they're the worst fucking thing in the world, but sometimes they're great and they happen, and then you have to sit there and laugh for like 30 minutes. But then sometimes they happen and it's like you're playing Skyrim and you kill a dragon and it was a dragon that was above your level, so you barely survive that shit anyway, and that thing resurrects itself from the dead and comes and kills you, and you can't get out of it because every time you respawn or restart the level, there it is, that fucking dragon's back. So Bethesda is notorious for their bugs, you're right.
I have to say, I didn't really experience a lot of them playing this game either. The rendering stuff, you still see that.
Yeah, there's still a few bugs that are just known, mostly surrounding the Scorched Queen and nukes, which is just gonna break the servers, which it does every time. You get on a server that's got 3 nukes dropped, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna back out of the server and go find one where there are no nukes dropped, because...
Yeah, anytime I log on and I see, like, 3 or 4 of those indicators that one's coming, I'm like, maybe later.
Yeah, there's still, unfortunately, a few bugs. A friend of mine actually recently got Fallout First, which is the subscription to Fallout 76, just so he could mess around with some of the stuff on it. And the first time I played on his private server, I was like, wow, I was dealing with glitches I didn't even know I was dealing with.
The private server is nice. The private server is nice. I like if I ever get back to playing it again, I'll re-up my first so I can have a private server.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. I mean, it's also, catch-22, right? Like, we don't want to do the private server right now, because it'd just be, like, 4 of us, and 4 of us aren't enough to do this new Mothman Equinox event, so we're like, oh, guess we gotta play on the public servers right now, get those people to help us carry our asses through this event.
I found it nice to play through the storyline on my private, because then you don't have to worry about wandering into an area where everyone's dropping nukes or doing PvP or...
Yeah. I don't actually see, like, any PvP, really, in the game. Just high-level people harassing low-level people.
That's pretty much what I mean. And to be fair, compared to other MMOs, the population is way low. Like, you're not wandering around with 80 people on the same planet.
Yeah, it's only 24 people per map, so that's the max that they allow on each server.
So I really like that as well, because when you're playing MMO, like when it lags on you because you have 800 people in the same location, it's like,
oh my god, you should go to this new Mothman event. Talk about lag. It is bad. And then if somebody has like a nuke dropped on the same server, oh my god, it's just almost unplayable sometimes.
But that's the nature of the beast.
You can get that event done fast.
So yeah, buggy, but at least 2 of the 3 of us here are not discouraged by said bugs.
Yeah, there's something endearing about Bethesda bugs, and the thing about Bethesda bugs is they're never actually game-breaking.
No.
So...
it's not like some games where, you have a conversation with someone and the entire thing freezes and goes away.
Yeah, like, you can't progress your story any further because this game is just broken now, like... Bethesda's never really had too much of a problem with that type of bugginess. Just ridiculous things.
Like Momthulu said, things that make you laugh, like your horse floating away into the...
Or things that make you sad, like my entire Thieves Guild collection exploding off the wall and it doesn't look pretty anymore.
Oh no!
That's what I have when I play Skyrim. I got like a save file once where the Thieves Guild display is perfect, and all the other ones it just blows up for some reason. Just goblets everywhere. The boat. Anyway, we're not talking about Skyrim.
We're talking about Bethesda. It fits.
Nice. Yeah,
And
like
that's as on point.
Nice.
I didn't hear Momthulu, I'm sorry.
I said trying to make your decor nice in a Bethesda game is infuriating because things just kind of like randomly tip over or like fling it across the room.
You feel like a klutz. You're like, I'm gonna place this right here super slowly, and then it's on the floor. It's like, what?
You're like gently place it down, and then it just flies off.
And just across the room it goes.
Yep, it's actually Phasmophobia meets Bethesda when you're trying to place items in any sort of setting.
Do you remember the what was the one before Skyrim? Was it Oblivion?
Oblivion, yeah.
Do you remember the Oblivion cheat where you could like duplicate everything with the you could duplicate everything?
I may or may not still use that when I play through it.
The worst was whenever you had like 100 scrolls in your inventory. You're like, let me just make 100 of these axes, these really high-level, high-dollar axes that I can sell to this merchant real quick. And it would, like, bug the game down so much, it would take it, like, 5 minutes to render all those axes. And then they'd be yeeting all across the floor.
Yeah, I made that mistake when I first learned the cheat. And I tried to, instead of make something to sell, I was like, I need lockpicks. I'm going to duplicate my lockpicks. And it trying to render 50 lockpicks onto the ground, I had to go back to a save. And my 360 never recovered. It was like, no, we can't do it. We can't.
You spent like 10 minutes.
Traumatized it. Just think, that's the same engine that Fallout 76 is on.
Just with more computing power now.
Yep.
So
funny.
Yeah, I still use that cheat because Oblivion, it's hard to make money. Skyrim, you can sell dragon bones and they're worth, buku bucks. But getting gold in Oblivion is possible.
Yeah, I was never a huge fan of Oblivion. I should probably give it another chance one of these days.
It holds a special place in my heart because it was the first Fallout game I played. It was the first Elder Scrolls game I played.
We're talking about the engine, man. That means that like it's still running Morrowind engine, isn't it?
Yeah,
like a slightly updated version of Morrowind engine. And Morrowind was a great game, but holy shit, wow, they need an overhaul.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, creating an engine's like obviously no easy feat, and once you do it, it's gonna have 1.5 million bugs, which is already a big problem with Bethesda. But I do think I heard that they're going to be updating it for their new franchise.
Let's hope so.
Star, whatever the heck.
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah,
me either, but I am looking forward to that.
What's it called?
It's
Star something.
Star something, I can't remember.
Is it like a space one?
Yeah, it's gonna be like Fallout in space.
Ooh.
Unreal.
Starfield.
AMT says they need to run it on Unreal Engine. Go away with your Unreal Engine.
It'll be called Starfield. All one word.
Yeah, AMT says you should run it on Unreal. And I away with you. I mean, that's better than Frost. That's better than Frost.
Timed out in chat. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're avoiding moving on because this next section is just ridiculous, and I only bring it up to point out how ridiculous people are talking, and that's microtransactions.
Yeah,
this is not, and I was shocked. I Google when I do these episodes to see what the Reddit and the major complaints and the bulk of what people are talking about. And the fact that this made the list is insane to me. It is in no way pay to play. None.
Fallout First subscription isn't even that good.
You know why I got Fallout First? Because I wanted the Ranger armor from New Vegas. And that's essentially what you pay for in Fallout 76 is cosmetics.
Yeah, I mean, and that currency that you spend that stuff on, you can earn that in-game. There's nothing stopping you from grinding it out, just like in any other MMO, to get the currency to use instead of real money. I bought myself a missile silo recently. I saved up 1,500 atoms, and I'm like, heck, yeah, missile silo.
And also, this is what MMOs do. I give them credit for not, making it where you can buy experience and stuff like that, like some do. This is how they make money. And the same people griping are be the ones going nuts if they made it pay to play, if they made it like subscription.
Yeah, like, you don't have to have the subscription to pay. You do have to buy the full game, but, I mean, it's actually free on Xbox Game Pass now.
It is.
So, yeah. But, yeah, you don't need the subscription to play. I do understand people getting upset when you pay for a game and then they want you to pay for other things, but you're not paying for anything story-wise. Like you said, it's all purely cosmetic type things.
If you're nerdy like me and like to tweak out your camp.
Yeah, or, I mean, like, I guess they do have things like carry weight boosters and scrap kits and things like that in there, but you can also, they give something like that free every single day, so you can pick them up from the Atom Shop when they're free and hold on to them for when you need them. That's what I do.
And that doesn't bring you more experience. It doesn't make you a better player. It means you have to go back to your camp less often.
Yeah, it just basically is for those of us like me, big time, who are constantly encumbered. That's, like, really all it's for. Some people don't even ever get encumbered when they play this game. I don't understand how.
I don't either, because any Fallout or Elder Scrolls game, I'm going to be always on the verge of going encumbered.
I think my character's carry weight right now is at 300, and I'm always at, like, 400, 500. But I need this Giddy a Buttercup back leg, you don't understand.
Hey, those were good. Those have all kinds of good stuff in it, yes.
I need the screws.
Screws and springs.
Right? I'll carry around 50 desk fans if I have to, just for those screws.
And the camps are so much fun to make, too. This is off the specific subject we're talking about, but I love my camp.
Well, it's kind of not, because the shelters and microtransactions, have you seen those?
Yes.
Like I said, I just bought the missile silo, and they just added another one with the expansion, which was an underground dig site, which has like dinosaur bones, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, right now I've been farting around the game preparing for this, and I already want to play some more. But I don't have. I disassembled my camp, and I've got little baby camps where I'm just basically mining for stuff.
Hey, my camp is just like some stuff set up on a bridge, so.
But what we'll end up doing again is so I'm playing on an Xbox now. When I first started playing, it was on PlayStation, and that's where I got in game. And I had this beautiful little mountain retreat. It was up in the mountain. It had a little river. It was such a beautiful camp. And then my brother was like, "I want to play with you, but I don't have a PlayStation." And then I had to go away. Made me sad.
You just have to rebuild.
That's a thing that needs to go away in the future. Is people or creators not doing like cross-platform gaming. I mean, come on, why is it that you can only play Fallout 76 with somebody who's also playing it on the same platform? It feels like you should be able to play it no matter what.
Well, you have cross-platform with PC.
No, you don't.
Oh, you don't? I thought they had that.
No. There's rumors that it will be coming, but I want to stress those are just rumors. There is nothing official. But again, this goes back to this is Bethesda's not only first MMO, their first multiplayer game, period. So
didn't they have like Elder Scrolls Online though, or did that come after?
That was that's a different company.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Bethesda intellectual property, but they didn't make the game.
Yeah, it was a different company that made that game. So, like I said, there's rumor that it might be happening, especially between Xbox and PC now that we know Microsoft bought out Bethesda. So, there's potential for it down the line. I'm not too upset about it, like I said, because I, forgive them. It's your first multiplayer game. It's your first MMO. Like, having not only an online game, but a game that is servers online live 24/7 being crossplay is just a whole other animal. I don't know really, other than Final Fantasy 14, is Red Dead crossplay? You said you play that one, right?
Red Dead Online?
Yeah.
Not between PS. Well, what you're talking about is between PS4 and Xbox, Momthulu, and that's never going to happen. They're never going to play well enough together to do that collaboration.
Sony's kind of a douche about that sort of thing. But like I said, there's a rumor it'll come to PC, but I just don't know a lot of MMOs that are crossplay, to be honest.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Like, I used to play Neverwinter, and I know that's not crossplay.
I know, but I feel like it's something that they should do. I mean, because...
The biggest thing limiting Xbox and Microsoft and PC is that you can't ever make it better. Because if you're on the platform, if you're on the console, then console is what it is.
Right.
Until the next generation console comes out, you can't make the game harder. Not harder like difficulty, but you know what I mean, harder to run.
Right.
That said, I agree with you. They should do it more. The tech's there, they just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I know crossplay is the biggest complaint among people I know with Fallout 76, because I know so many people who had that on PlayStation and they don't want to have to restart on Xbox, but...
My brother had to bribe me. He bought me the game, because this was before it was free on Game Pass.
Yeah.
He bought me the Xbox version. He's like, so now you can play with me. I'm like, but I have to start over.
I don't want to hear any complaints from you. Yeah, it would be cool if you could at least link a character to your Bethesda account and switch it.
That would be cool.
Like, that, you should at least be able to do that. If we're not going to have crossplay, at least let me upload a character to my... Because you connect your Bethesda account anyway. Like, what am I doing that for? To get your propaganda? I don't care.
It's like that Final Fantasy
You're already
game.
going to spam, so, I mean, it doesn't matter.
The Final Fantasy online game, I don't remember which one that is. That 12, 13? I don't
14.
remember. 14. So my friend got me to play that one for a while, and originally I bought it for PlayStation 4, but you can log in to the Final Fantasy servers on PC, and your character's still there, so you can that's cross-platform.
Yeah, that one's PS4 PC crossplay. Yeah, you can even play with your friends on PC while you're on your PS4. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't have a PC for the longest time. That's why she bought it for me on PS4. So like.
Let's be honest, though, Final Fantasy XIV kind of makes most other games look really bad. Like, that game is just so incredible. If the subscription was cheaper, I'd totally play it, but...
It's such a big improvement over their first try, too.
Yeah, like, they literally blew up their entire first try, like, made it part of the story, and, like, restarted the game, basically.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This is Final Fantasy we're talking about. They've got it down. They always have had it down. So...
No, I'm not laughing at what you said. I'm laughing because we have a friend... Jay, who has been a host on this show. He's a stand-up comedian. He has his own show, Nerdcade Retro. He hates Final Fantasy. He refuses to do a review on it. He doesn't like playing it. If you try to get him talking about it, he gets like militant. He hates Final Fantasy.
Some of the best games are Final Fantasy. Like my favorite PlayStation game. My favorite PlayStation game besides. Okay, I say this every time. It's just one of my favorites. Damn it. Okay, I have so many favorites.
I was gonna say Secret of Mana comes to mind.
Like Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, that was cool and everything. But Final Fantasy VIII is my fucking jam. I love Final Fantasy VIII. It's so good.
We could have a whole episode on Final Fantasy VIII and how much people hate it, and I love it.
It's such a good game. It is, and you didn't have to play for 137 hours to be able to like have high level. You just had to know where those two frickin' islands were. You know what I'm talking about, because you could go to those islands and you could draw. So all you had to do was wait till you got to the Ragnarok, and then you could go to those two islands and do all of those draws, and then just keep going between them, and eventually...
I don't like the Thor movies.
Shut up. Anyway, Final Fantasy is a great game. A lot of them are great games. Final Fantasy IX was great. Final Fantasy VIII was great. Final Fantasy VII was great and hilarious if you leveled up all of your materia. Because there was nothing better than getting all of your materia updated and then going into the final battle with Sephiroth and having the mimic the mimic materia like freaking all the way up, and then your Knights of the Round all the way up, and then you'd start those two and it would go, and then it would just keep playing those cinematics, and you'd have to get up and go like make a sandwich or something and come back 20 minutes later and it's still going. It was amazing. It was hilarious.
Most of those games.
Yeah, that's the thing about Final Fantasy. I always tend to really like the Final Fantasies that everybody else hates. 8, 13, 15. You know.
I still remember playing the Super Nintendo version. I mean, that one I had.
You mean like the 8-bit ones?
Yeah.
Those are really good too. Those are really good too.
You can play them on your phone now, right?
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
Nice. I've thought about picking them up for my phone.
That's funny.
All right, but we were talking about Fallout, Miss Momthulu.
Sorry.
Distractiness.
I hate this game so much. I want to talk about other. I want to talk about other things.
Just one thing leads to another.
The next gripe that I found, and this is gonna be a common thread here. It's an MMO. It's an MMO. It's an MMO. Can we put that on the screen? It's an MMO because Vats
Flashing.
Vats does not work like it does in the other Fallout games.
Yeah, that was a huge complaint of some of the people I know that
but it's
also hate that game.
I get it, because listen, I'm an RPG player. I love the tactical pause. I live with the tactical pause. Pause the game, let me see what's going on, who should I attack first?
Yeah,
I love that.
Give me that Baldur's Gate.
But you can't do that with a live MMO. What are you going to do with the other players walking around like, that section over there's frozen? He must have his Vats up.
The entire server's supposed to slow down for 5 seconds while you line up your shot. Like, everybody else just starts going in slow motion. Like,
that would be hilarious, though.
I actually run a Vats build in Fallout 76, if you could call it such a thing. I like Vats a lot, and I like it because I'm lazy as heck. So, basically what Vats has become is just an auto-aim, which I am totally okay with.
It helps as an auto-aim.
You can still do crit shots. You can still target limbs if that's something you want to do. It still works exactly the same, you just don't have that little bit of slow motion sucking up your AP.
Yeah, because as of Fallout 4, it's no longer a pause anyway. It's just slowed it down.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think it's too bad.
I don't use Vats a lot.
I mean, the most important part about Vats, obviously, is the mysterious stranger.
Yes.
And he still exists. I use him on my build, too. He'll show up and take aggro from the enemies around me when I'm playing by myself.
I don't use Vats a whole lot because I usually play melee characters, but we were talking in the chat earlier. I use it for the flies and stuff because you're up there trying to swat at it with your sword or whatever, and it moves and you miss. So I'll use it for that.
Ticks in particular.
Oh my god, yes.
Those scampering little... they're so fast I can never get a shot on them. I'll just whip out my switchblade and start stabbing.
And I'll use it when you're fighting a Scorch Beast because I have to shoot at it in the air.
Yeah.
Yes, it's hard to get those shots off sometimes. They're bouncing around.
I hated the Scorched, you guys. I hated that.
Scorched the people or the Scorched Beast?
All of it. I hated it.
All of the above.
Well, Scorched Beast, if you run into it early game, can be very devastating.
Say goodbye to all of your ammo and stim packs. Because there's no outrunning a Scorched Beast either.
No, I've tried it. I tried it across a mountainside. Like leave me alone.
It can be really annoying, but luckily they have it fixed pretty well that you won't encounter one unless you're somewhere you're not supposed to be.
If you see, FYI, if you've never played the game and you load it up and you see a fissure in the ground, get the fuck out of there.
And definitely don't fall into it, because you'll lose all your stuff, I found out. I was walking backwards trying to get a shot on this Scorched Beast, and my body went straight into a fissure site. Turns out your loot doesn't spawn on the edge of the fissure, it's just down there and gone forever. Yep, so I was like, no, my precious loot!
But let me tell you, and Momthulu, you don't know this because you haven't played the game enough, but Mel will be able to back me up here. You do not feel cooler than you do the first time you take down a Scorched Beast by yourself.
Oh yeah, it's pretty impressive. There are a lot of cryptids in the game that it's just the coolest thing when you take one down by yourself for the first time. The Grafted Monster, Wendigos, Mothmen. I mean, so many cool, big enemies that you can just stumble upon.
I just cried. I did it, and I did that little kid thing where I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I defeated a Mothman all by myself. I was like, I'm the coolest. I can't believe. I mean, the Mothman are my favorite enemy in the game to fight. They just have the coolest kind of combat, but they're hard. Like all those cryptids, they're not a Scorch Beast. Are probably the hardest, other than the Colossus, which is another kind of event.
Well, the Scorch Beasts are hard because they're like bullets, sponges. That's going to be a long
every time they do
fight.
the echolocation attack, which is like their main attack, they summon more Scorch on the ground to fight you while they're floating around in the sky, not giving a shit about anything.
So yeah, the Scorch Beasts are just like, it's a marathon. It's like, this fight is going to be like 20-30 minutes. You just need to know that.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. I've been spending too much time in the Cranberry Bog lately for my taste.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's right by the Fisher too.
Yeah, that's down in that red zone where the queen kind of spawns.
Dangerous territory. My brother built a camp there just so he can rack up points. Like experience points.
Yeah, that's where a buddy of mine,
he has missile launchers on the thing just so they can constantly fight at the Scorch.
Yeah, when you hit level 100, I believe, is when you get a campsite. Like, not the camp, but it's like a tent you can set up as a secondary camp or something like that.
Oh, see, that was one of the perks of Fallout First, so you can get that in-game.
Okay, so it wasn't a level thing. Yeah, my buddy who got Fallout First, he set his camp up down by, like, where the queen spawns. I go there, and there's a Deathclaw right outside his tent.
They're convenient if you don't want to move your camp and you're on the other side of the map.
Yeah, if you have, like, your base camp that you built up all real nice, but you still want something nearby to work with. That is one of maybe three things I'd like about First, but other than that, I just really don't think it's that worth it. Even the bonuses you get on the scoreboard aren't that great.
No, when I use it is when I'm collecting, like if I'm trying to build something big and I get a bunch of crap, because you get the extra storage.
Stash box.
Yeah, the stash box. After you get the initial cool things like the armor and stuff, the stash box is the only thing that's really gives you anything.
Oh my god, yeah. They gave us Fallout First for free for a week or something like that. All I did was just pump everything I could into that stash box. Like, because you can take out of it after you lose First, but you can't put into it. So.
Trust me, I know, because I just came back and I haven't re-upped First. So, it exists, I just can't do anything with it. Like, I can't build again or...
Right. But Vats is still pretty viable, I think, if that's how you want to play. It just doesn't slow down, but you get used to it pretty fast, because I'm a big Vats person, and when I play Fallout games, I'm lazy, and I love them. So I've just, gotten used to it. It's not really that big of a difference.
Really, all
further back, and
all it's bringing to you is, like I said, the live MMO vibe, where you got to get faster on set keys, and the hardest thing for me to adjust to was not being able to pause, like go into my menu and do a stim pack, having to add it to the quick slots.
Oh yeah, no, they automatically have stim packs set to a specific quick slot.
But using it though, because I never use quick slots. I always like to go into my menu and play around with stuff. So
you play on Xbox, right? So right on the D-pad is always stim packs. It's not even like a quick thing. Unlike your other hotbar, which I keep like Psycho Buff and Rataways and stuff.
I don't keep anything on it. I'm horrible about that. I should be better.
People don't know about that though. The right on the D-pad being stim packs, because I have a lot of people ask me, "How do I hotbar stim packs?" I'm like, dude, the game already does it for you. That's the only thing right on the D-pad does is a stim pack.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, I'm like wondering why apparently must be hidden in the nobody mentions it to you when you're starting up the game, I guess.
It's been so long since I played through that intro, I don't know.
Well, let's be honest, I only found out probably purely by accident, just pressing every single button on the controller, seeing what does what.
Hey, that is a valid method of finding stuff out.
That's what I do. I mean, I'm just like, oh, that threw a grenade at my feet. Well, I guess I'll figure out what the rest of the buttons do when I come back to life.
I have done PC games where rather than Google or look into a book to find out what a key does, I will literally just press every key on the keyboard, like, oh, that one does this.
Just go down one at a time, pressing each key.
I've done that. No exaggeration.
Oh, man. Video games, am I right?
I remember doing that for I was playing Link to the Past on an emulator, and I couldn't figure out what button brought up my start menu, and I just hit every freaking key. I was like, at some point my menu's gonna pop up.
One of these has to work eventually, right?
As we come to the end of the show, we're going to talk about in-game, which I need to get back up to level 50 because I'm behind the times. So what I was going to say, and what the complaints that you saw online were that when you get in-game, there's not a lot to do. You know, the dailies and weeklies, and you can do PvP stuff, but there wasn't any other game to play, but that's kind of an MMO thing. And it sounds like from what Mel was talking about, they've actually already added some more stuff. So I'm going to let her fill that in because
I mean, the most recent one, they added in the whole Brotherhood of Steel expansion, which was really cool. It brought the Brotherhood of Steel to the game. You have a whole huge story thing you could do with them. I mean, they even before that, when they brought the NPCs to the game, they actually put the Overseer in the game. I don't know if you were playing when that happened, Jester.
I didn't get very far into it.
Yeah, but so she got added with her whole own other quest aside from the one where you follow her journey or whatever that was in the game since launch. As I was saying at the start of the show, we just had a really big update to the game, which added things like quality of life improvements, which actually, let me pause right here to say that the greatest thing about Fallout 76 is they listen to the audience. They listen to the people playing these games and what they want. Every change that's been made to Fallout 76 was player requested things. So this new quality of life thing just added in a bunch of stuff that they wanted. Like now you can loot all the bodies in an area at once instead of having to go through find each individual body. You know, they added a whole new radius. It's just like little stuff that they do to listen to us, the players. That makes, you know, Bethesda a pretty cool company.
That's very cool and also not very common.
Yeah, too often people are like, no, we know what's best for you, even though you guys are being really loud and telling us what's best for you. But no, we know, you don't. Shut up. There's too many games as attitude. But yeah, so, and part of this update was the Mothman Equinox event, which is going through to the 21st of this month, but is also a teaser, we believe, to be for the Cultist expansion, which has been, you know, long time rumored that is going to be the next big expansion, is something with the cult. This event teases that extra hard, now giving us 2 different factions to the Cult of the Mothman, which I am a huge fan of. I love Cult of the Mothman. There's one NPC in the game who talks about how he wants to start Cult of the Megasloth, where you just chill with the Megasloth and have beers with the Megasloth, and I'd join that cult if it existed, but Cult of the Mothman's good too. So this event is like, okay, I get it. You're setting up for the next expansion, so hopefully we'll be seeing that soon. Like Jester said, it's kind of just the way MMOs go, right? Is you have your set story to begin with, like any game, and then you get DLC.
Yeah,
that adds on to some more story, you know?
Essentially, most of what we talked about today comes down to people not understanding what an MMO is, and if you've been a Fallout
it's just
fan,
gonna be like any other Bethesda game.
And if you're a Fallout fan, I get that, but then you also need to understand MMOs work different.
They just have to.
Yeah, it's perpetual. It doesn't end. And by the way, when you finish the Fallout games, the older games, there's no more story either. It's just over.
Right, unless you buy a DLC, unlike in Fallout 76, where you're getting all these expansions for free.
Again, not common. I'm looking at you, Elder Scrolls, with, $50 for every expansion.
Oh my god, yeah, I've thought about getting caught up on Elder Scrolls expansions, because I hear that ESO got a lot better, as the expansions went, but you, look at what you're going to be paying to get caught up on expansions, and oh my god, I about had a heart attack and died.
Yeah, it's insane. And I played it a little bit a couple years ago, and I played it in beta on PC, and I can't stick with it for very long. It's cool for a minute, and then I get bored with it.
Yeah, I don't know if Fallout 76 is going to do any sort of paid expansions in the future, but as of right now, all the content they add is free.
At this point, I wouldn't mind paying for one. They've done so much for free already. It's fair.
Yeah, it'd have to be a pretty interesting and substantial one.
Oh yeah, it's not. It can't just be $40, and we made it where you can make your colors different here.
Right? Oh my gosh. But yeah, no. I mean, I really like what they've done to make quote-unquote end game much more viable. The scoreboard's a lot of fun to mess around with. We're on, I think this newest update started season 7 of the scoreboard, I believe.
I don't know the exact number, but it's been going on for a little while because it was on when I was playing before.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing that ties into the comic book lore, for the most part, of the Fallout universe, which is always a little bit fun, you know.
And if you like PvP and like Battle Royale, they've got a thing for that too.
Yeah,
it's a separate server and everything, so you don't get like confused with everything else. But
yeah, they have the rotating servers. Right now it is, you have atomic jump and no fall damage, so basically you're just shooting up into the sky and shooting down at whatever you want. Pretty funny.
So, yes, as most of the things we talk about, it's flawed. But it's a good game. I think it's fun to play. Mel agrees with me. Yeah, Mom has been kind of quiet.
Yeah, if you played it at first and you didn't like it, I do highly recommend going back and giving it another try now. When I loaded it up recently, after the first time I played it was when it first came out, and I hadn't played it since until a few months ago, and I started a whole new character. It's just a completely different game. It just feels 100% different. You'll see some of the stuff like, oh, I remember that. But overall, I definitely think it's worth going back and giving a try. Like I said, it's free to play on Xbox Game Pass if you have that, so you don't even have to pay for it if you're, like, on the fence.
We have that, and we have a disc. And I think we have I know we have a PlayStation version too. So, yeah, Mom, you can try it.
Okay. I'll get right on that.
Hey,
like, I don't have 50 other games I'd rather be playing it.
The last time she didn't believe me on a game, she ended up loving it, and you guys spent a whole episode talking about it.
We didn't spend a whole episode talking just about Horizon Zero Dawn.
It spawned the episode, though.
You're right. No, what spawned the episode was the misogynistic tweet about her face. That pissed me off. Yeah. That's what spawned the episode. I hadn't even played the game when I saw that.
I like how you played the game out of spite. You're like, oh, yeah, that's what you think? I'm going to play it.
Well, so like I said in the episode, I got the idea for the episode when I saw that tweet. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to talk about it, I need to play it. And then I started playing it, and I was like, oh, shit, this game's amazing. And then I just kept playing it, and I, like, beat it real fast. So
I know. I saw some gameplay for Forbidden West the other day, and it looks
so good.
Oh my god, the motion cap they have is just flawless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they could have improved that game, but they freaking did it. They did. And I'm waiting until we get, I'm not going to play the Forbidden West until we are able to get our hands on a PS5, which is hard right now, but hopefully we'll get one here soon.
I've got both of them on watch lists. But it's probably going to be next year before they chill out enough that we can get without having to pay double.
Yeah, since we got this holiday season, there's probably going to be people shivving each other in the street.
And to be fair, I could get a Series S Xbox, but I really want to hold out for the X. I don't want the X.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I don't want the S. I'd rather have the X.
Like on GameStop right now, they have S's for sale. I can go get it. I can do it right now, but I don't. I want the X. I'm an old man. I want discs. And the better graphics, because the S doesn't have as good a graphics.
I think if you're looking at having one for long term, which obviously you would be, I think the X is the better investment. I think you're going to be seeing an expansion come along for the S to make it more like the X, that you're going to have to probably pay like $300 for to plug something into the back of your
Microsoft
Xbox.
is good at that. I remember I bought a 360, the first gen out, and I remember having to pay $120 for a Wi-Fi adapter.
Yep.
Like, oh, we didn't think to put Wi-Fi on it. That's cool. You got $200? I'll sell you one.
Yeah, their whole new storage devices they just came out for the new Xboxes is like, oh my god.
And it's just a regular external hard drive with Xbox on the frickin' label. Extra $100, please.
For the 2 terabyte one, you're paying as much for that as you are for the whole Xbox itself. Like, get real. Oh my god.
Oh my god, Microsoft, you're the worst.
They're the best, but they can be the worst.
So yes, guys, go play this game. If you play it on Xbox, you might see a Jester running around.
Or a Nephimel.
But not a Momthulu.
My wife.
Party pooper.
Right. So thank you all for hanging out, and thank you, Miss Nephimel. Where can we find you coming up here soon?
Yeah, thanks for having me again. You can find me on my own channel, which is, twitch.tv/Nephimel, where I play games like Fallout 76 and other things and raise money for a charity called Stack Up. Speaking of charity, though, I also next weekend will be doing One Up on Cancer's Winter Wishes event. Woo-woo! I tried to get Momthulu in on it, but I don't think the times worked for her this time again. So maybe one of these days, Momthulu will be over there.
We're both looking at a situation where here coming in the new year, our schedules are going to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, here's hoping. But that'll be a fun time too. If I can, I'll put that in chat for you.
You should. And Nephimel, as she pointed out last time, is spelled PH, not F.
Oh, my name? Yeah. Kind of rip off of Nephilim, if you know what those are.
It sounds fairy-like, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah. They're like half angels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I have seen that term
From
before.
Divinity, yeah.
Alright, and Momthulu, where can we find you? Other than in the bedroom.
Here. Whoa, that went...
Yeah, see, I didn't mean it like that.
That sounded better in your head, I'm sure, than it did coming out.
It did not come out like
it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that did not come out the way I liked. Please don't write.
So you can find me here. Right now, I'm in between, like, streaming for charities and stuff, just because I've been struggling lately, so that's something I'm looking to get back into here very soon, because I actually kind of miss it. I'm going to do community game night with one of the charity communities that we're with here sometime, and I'm hoping that'll kind of like kickstart me back into it. But you can find me on my channel if I decide to start streaming again when I have some time, and that is twitch.tv/Momthulu. I don't have any charities that I'm really into right now. I was doing stuff for Game Pink, but that whole thing's over at this time, so... I want to join up with Fuck Cancer. That's something that I want to do with Ash's Fall. So I just have to pull the plug and actually freaking do it. But
yes, you do.
But that's the thing. It's like every time I get to streaming or get like I'm gonna stream today, then like something else happens. There's just been a lot of like shit happening in the personal life and stuff. Like my kid's got a freaking hole in his leg, and that's kind of been sapping all of my strength right into that leg hole. So, eventually.
There's an image for you. All right, and we have patrons I need to shout out. We have 3 patrons now. We had 2 last time. Ooh. Now we have 3.
What?
Right, 6 episodes in, we're already making the big bucks.
Mr. Famous.
Mr. Kyle here, who is AMT in the chat, he is a patron, as well as Firebrant, and our newest patron, Derek Diamond, formerly of the Derek Diamond Experience podcast, who is actually about to start his own new podcast called Feature Presentation.
Ooh. Nice.
Oh, and he is a co-host on the Nerd Cave Retro, which we were talking about earlier with Jason. Which is also a very good podcast to check out. You should check it out. But that is our show. You can find us, the Jesters Court, on Facebook and Twitter. And if you want to become one of those cool patrons and see some fun stuff, like me doing illegal commentaries with the video playing, you can go to patreon.com/thejesterscourt.
Yeah.
Do it!
Do it!
Do it! Do it! Next week, we will be having an episode. I don't know if it's going to be streaming, because there's going to be more people than I have a layout for. But we're doing our Christmas episode. We're going to be talking about our favorite Christmas movies.
Oh, God. Am I on this episode?
My Heart is Not a Christmas Movie.
Am I on this episode?
If you want to be.
From there.
I mean, you are my co-host, but no, you don't have to. I have enough people without you.
No, it's just people are gonna laugh at me for my favorite Christmas movie. That's all.
I'm not gonna give any spoilers away, but one of my 5 you were gonna make laugh at me for. So
I doubt it.
Well, no, but they're gonna laugh at me.
Yeah, so we'll have to watch next week and find out.
You
will. Do it.
So yeah, if you're one of those cool Patreon users we talked about, you'll be able to see this episode tomorrow night. If not, you'll have to wait till Friday on YouTube and all of the podcast services now. We exist everywhere.
Hey, I have a question.
Ooh.
Yes.
Are you gonna let me glitter your beard for this podcast next week? You gonna let me do it?
For
Am I gonna get
what?
to finally glitter your beard?
If we hit the $50 mark a month on patrons, you can glitter my beard.
Do it. Become a patron. I need to glitter his beard, and I will hang Christmas ornaments in it. I will do it.
Patreon.com/the Jester's Court. And with that, we are gonna go out. Thanks for hanging out, and have a good night.